Hi folks, today we are going to be working on our bowl project. So with your bowl project, you are going to get a few things. You're going to get a slab of clay. That's a big kind of sheet of clay. You're also going to get a bowl form. This way we can put the clay inside here and it can match up. Once that's done and we had all of our texture and designs, whatever else we want inside there, then we will let it dry and we will fire it. So once it's fired, it'll come out nice and solid. And after it's fired, then we will spend a day and we will be able to glaze them. So glazing is adding the color to it. So we'll go through, we'll add 3 coats on the inside, we'll add 2 around the outside, and we will make sure that there is no glaze on the bottom because we don't want this to stick to our shells. Once it's glazed and fired, that's when it becomes food safe. And that's when you can use it for hot foods, cold foods. You just want to remember not the microwave. Just because this isn't sealed, we don't want any steam coming out of there and cracking the bowl in half. So let me flip my camera around and I will show you exactly how to make this bowl. All right folks, so today you're going to get a slab of clay. That's a flat piece of clay. You're also going to get a bowl form, and this bowl is what we're going to use to make our bowl. You're also going to have a box full of tools. So the one that you're really going to need off the bat is the fettling knife. So the fettling knife has a sharp edge on the top and it's rounded on the top. When you hold it, you want to hold it like this so that you can control whether it's straight up and down or at an angle. And you also want to watch too, because it's connected by a tiny little piece of metal in there. You don't want to press down on it like that because you'll snap the blade right out. So the first thing we have to do is we have to turn the bowl upside down and we line it up into a spot that everything is going to fit really nice in. So when I look at this one, let me see if I can get this in here. It looks like it fits really nice in there, but there's a lot of extra clay. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to cut a lot of this big clay off. And I'm just going to move it off on the side because I just don't need that in the room or in my space there. Once I have that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the knife is straight up and down, not at an angle. So we don't want it crooked, we don't want it tilted, we want it straight up and down. And I'm just going to cut. And then I'm going to cut. And once again, I'm not pressing super hard on there. I don't want to break the knife. These knives break very, very easily. Whenever we're cutting, we want to make sure that little angled side is facing down, that bevel. We're going to come right around, cut that piece off. Once again, take your time. It's not a race. You want to do a good job with this because this is the edge of your bowl. So however you leave this is how your bowl is going to look. So then we cut that piece off too. Now we're done with this. We can put that away. Next, we are going to take our piece of clay. We're going to look for the better side, whatever side looks better, which I think is this side. We're going to put that facing up. When we put this in here, we want to make sure it's not lopsided. We don't want it like that because then that whole edge would be hanging off. So we want to match that up as best we can with our form. And then the first couple times we do this, we want to make sure we're holding on to the clay so that it doesn't slide away from us. So I actually like to hold on with a little bit more than my thumb. And I just start, it's almost like you're doing a pinch pot. You're going to go around and pinch the top edge so that the clay starts falling in. Then I turn it and I pinch some more. Once again, I'm just using my hand to pinch. That's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of pinching my hand in, and now once I went around once, the clay is kind of set where it's going to stay. Now I can go underneath that piece. So I'm going right underneath the line I just did, and I'm slowly going around, pushing it down and in, trying to get it so that it touches the edge of the bowl. You'll be able to feel it. As you're going through, you'll be able to feel the bowl underneath and you'll say, oh, okay, that's where the bowl is. And we just kind of keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going. And then I'm going to get to the bottom, and once I get to the bottom, I'm just going to push it flat down. Now, if you happen to have some little holes in there, that's where you just take your thumb and just go over them. Sometimes those cracks happen just because we're stressing the clay. We're really spreading that clay out kind of quickly, and we want to go nice and slow with that. The edge if you're just keeping your hand on there the whole time and you keep pinching this so that it gets really teeny tiny, it's going to crack. So to keep that from cracking, you don't want to spend a lot of time pushing and pushing and pushing on the edge. Just a little bit of push down, not a lot. Also, please make sure you don't wrap the clay around the bottom. So something like this, where we have the clay that comes up and around the bottom of the bowl, that's not going to be a good thing, because that's going to crack and it will lock it in place and I won't be able to take the bowl off easily. What you can also do is then take your fingers. So just do this with your fingers and go around the edge. What we're trying to do is get rid of any sharp spots. Any sharp spots on the bowl will be sharp later on once they're fired and once it's rock hard. So we want to make sure we're getting rid of any of those spots. What your hands will do too is they will help smooth out the clay. So we just keep smoothing that out, so then we have the clay all done up and in the right way. Once we have that done, once again, I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to make sure that that's touching inside the bowl. If I go too quick, if I'm pressing too hard, sometimes what might happen is the bowl might rip a little bit. This clay that I'm using is recycled clay, and it was a little bit drier than it should have been. Because of that, that's why it tore. Your clay will be a little bit softer. So an easy fix if that happens is we just take a piece of clay and we just kind of go over it to band-aid it up and then spread it out so that it's nice and smooth inside there. And that's about as far as we're going to get that first day. We'll take this, you'll hand me the bowl, I'll go put it in the back so that it can dry very, very slowly, and so that the next time that you get your bowl, it will be able to stand up on its own. So we'll say that that's almost leather hard clay, where it will feel like it's almost like shoe leather, but we can still do things to it. We can still add designs. So the next time that you come to art, that's when you want to make sure, if you have something that you want to push into the clay, that you bring it. If you have, say, like a shell from the seashore, you found a cool one. So maybe you found something like that and you want to put that in the bottom of your bowl to remind you of what that was like. You know, you can go ahead and you can start adding those designs in there. On top of that, I also have something called a texture mat. Texture mats are mats that you can press into the clay. And what it does is it leaves that design all the way through the clay. I have big ones, I have smaller ones that you can just press into, and as long as you're overlapping them, it'll come through the entire piece. Inside your toolbox, we have other tools that you can use for the edges or for the top of the bowl. So we have a lot of different tools and things that you can use, even letters. If you're not sure what the letter does and you have a little piece of clay, test it out first. That's a G, and you can see that it's got to go that way, where the I is going to go that way. Anything we push into the clay, we want to make sure that we're not pressing all the way down and tearing right in through the bottom, because then when we go to fire these, you're going to have a big hole or holes in your project if you're pressing too hard. You don't need to press very deep with these tools. Cleanup. I will take your bowl, I'll put it in the back, and then once you have all of your tools put away, and if you have any of my stampers or other things, we will get those away too. Once that's away, then I will be around to give you your buckets. Your buckets will look like this. There will be a washcloth inside. Wash your hands really good. Try to get all the clay off of them. Don't worry about wiping the mats down. Once that's done, put it back inside. I'll collect those back and clean those, and then I will call my quietly sitting tables to line up. Okay, so once we have the bowl made, I also have different letters for us to use. These are some of the different letters. You're gonna have to look on both sides. These purple ones, there's letters on both sides. So if I was trying to stamp a name, I would press them in until the name stood out. So if you look at a letter and you actually do it backwards, so that one was supposed to be a G, but I kind of did it upside down just to show you. If you make a mistake, just take your thumb, smooth right over it, it will disappear, and then you can go back in and do it. Just watch which way the letter is facing. That way we can get those inside there. Also, watch that you don't press all the way through. If you're pressing all the way through this, then your bowl is going to have holes in it. If you were trying to use smaller letters, I have these green ones that kind of snap together. So they show you the letters in there, and they kind of go together so that you can have them fit. So you can stack more. Whoops, how does that need to go? So that way I have those, and I can press those right into my bowl, and then that way it would make those inside there. If I needed a space in between, all I would do is turn it upside down. So if I turn it upside down, then there's a space in the letters, and I could have it like that instead. There's also a box full of different shells. So if you're looking for different shells, you can use those as a texture to add inside your bowl. There are these little things which are texture mats. You press those in and then just go over the back with your hand, and it will leave the design right inside your bowl. There's these little stampers here that you can press also into your bowl. So we have a lot of different texture tools. Even inside your workbox, there's dowels that are great for circles. If you wanted to do parallel lines, the fork is great for that because they're evenly spaced. You can have lines going all the way around. You could have bigger circles that are interlocked, kind of like circles or chainmail if you went back and forth, or the Olympics. There's bottle caps that will give you a great texture going around the top. You can even use it around the edge if you wanted it like a quarter. You can even use these to make bigger circles. There's also inside there this tool, and this tool is a little rubber tip tool, and you can use that to draw. So let's say I wanted to draw spirals all around, or maybe I wanted to do my own flowers in there. Then I can draw those right onto the damp clay. Just watch that you're not going super deep, that you're not cutting right through your bowl. We've got to be very careful with that. We don't want to cut through and get to the other side with these. So today, go ahead, add your texture, add your name, add your design, add the things that you want to your bowl, and then we'll get cleaned up. Now, cleanup with these is not very difficult. I will take your bowls. Once I have your bowls in the back, we will let them dry. Oh. Jesus Christ. All right, folks, once we have our bowls made, then comes the cleanup time. So with cleanup, keep your bowl inside here, or if it's not inside there, I will collect your bowls. So once I have your bowls put away, I will put them into either a plastic container or bag so that they will be able to dry very, very slowly. Or if we are done with them, I will take them out of the bowl and we will let them dry that way so that they can go into the kiln. Once those are away, then please put all of your tools inside the box, close the box up, and I will give you a bucket with your stuff to get cleaned up in there. So with the washcloth, there's already soap, there's water, sanitizer, all that stuff inside there. Please wash up really good, get that all cleaned up, and then put that inside. Once that's done, I'll give you your paper towels, dry your hands, and then my quietly sitting tables will get called to go. So once again, once you get cleaned up, get sitting down quietly in your seats, so then I can get you lined up and get you into the hallway. Thank you.